drummer. Or even the real musician, he just makes a noise.
You don't know what you're talking about.
If he played the violin or the piano, anything that made sense, but the drums...
My guest today is Lou Pastrami, the notorious, some say infamous, New York and London jazz club owner. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, how you doing?
Well, not too bad, thank you. Apart from having a number of successful jazz venues and having rubbed shoulders with the jazz greats over many, many years, you're best known for being the inventor of jazz boxing, and that's why I invited you on the show to explain a little bit to myself and my audience about jazz boxing.
Well, I was running a few clubs on the Upper West Side, and one club in particular was doing great. That was the Alhambra Club. I had a lot of big shots coming there, movie stars, sports guys. The club was great. It was a kind of den of iniquity, if you will, full of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, prostitution, and
police corruption, I've been told, in that area.
Oh, sure. And also all kind of sexual depravity.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great club. You know, you could go there and have a great time, you know. But I knew the club could offer more, you know. And I was looking around the club one night. We had a young Muhammad Ali in there. And that night we had the Oscar Peterson trio playing. And that's when I hit on the idea to combine my love of boxing with my pathological hatred of jazz musicians. I figured, you know, Peterson's a big guy. Let's get him in the ring with Ali, see what the hell happens. And the thing with musicians is they're so short of money all the time. They will do anything. So Peterson agreed, and I got him in the ring for the first ever bout of jazz boxing.
Well, of course, we're going to play a little bit of Oscar Peterson Trio now. My favourite track of theirs, off my favourite album of theirs, which is We Get Requests. And we'll be back after this with more from Lou Pastrami.
Peterson was a big guy. He could handle himself. You know, he went 2 rounds with Ali, which was pretty good. But then he started getting busted up a bit, you know.
So was it just, you know, Oscar himself, or was it the rest of the trio? I mean, Charlie Smith, the drummer, I would imagine he would have got some fast shots in.
Well, you know, the whole trio was in there, but this time it was Ed Thigpen on drums. A master, not only with the sticks, but also the brushes. But all 3 of the guys were in there mixing it up with Ali, but I gotta be straight with you, they got the shit kicked out of them.
Was this your first club?
This is the Alhambra Club I'm talking about here, you know.
Oh, right, yeah. How many clubs is it you own now?
14.
I heard that Buddy Rich upset yourself and the audience.
Well, yeah, Buddy Rich was there too, and make no mistake about it, Buddy Rich was a tough guy. You know, he could do the karate, and he used to box a little as a kid, you know, before becoming a great drummer. And he didn't like the way the Oscar Peterson trio were getting thumped. So he jumped in the ring, and by this time the other 3 guys in the trio were unconscious, and so it was just Ali and Buddy Rich toe-to-toe. And Buddy Rich did good, you know, for maybe 40 seconds or something. But at that point, Ali threw a massive right cross, which connected with the jaw of Buddy Rich, and he went down out cold.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Gene Krupa another great drummer of the time, was so outraged by this, he jumped into the ring with a cymbal stand and brought it smartly down on the head of Ollie.
So this is all a bit of a free-for-all. It sounds like very unorganised.
Oh, sure, real.
Were there rules? Or
I mean, this was an entertainment, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, were there any regulations imposed, or
Well,
was it just a free-for-all?
That's a good question because, Gene Krupa brought the cymbal stand down on Muhammad Ali's head, knocked him out cold. And so I initially declared the first bout of jazz boxing a split decision draw.
Right. Well, we're going to have a little clip of Gene Krupa now. And, this is going back some ways. So, the Alhambra must have been quite successful quite early on. Anyway, here he is, Gene Krupa.
But later, on consultation with my colleagues at the club, it was decided that the use of the cymbal stand was, in fact, in contravention of the rules of jazz boxing.
Yeah. And these various jazz giants that you rubbed shoulders with, I'm told, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm told that you actually got John Coltrane in the ring with George Foreman.
That's right, that was a good night.
That's factually...
Oh, sure. We had all the guys. I mean, we had guys queuing up to get in the ring with big name boxers.
How did Coltrane go?
Well, he was so stoned, I don't really think he knew what the hell was going on. But he gave a pretty good account of himself because, of course, he had the horn in there with him.
Well, whilst we're talking here, let's put some John Coltrane on as a sound bed, and you can tell me more about how he performed in the ring.
He gave a pretty good account of himself because, of course, he had the horn in there with him. Oh, sure, yeah. So, I mean, it was all bent out of shape by the end of the fight because he was whacking Foreman around the head with it and around the body, putting body shots in, and he did pretty good, but...
I mean, Foreman's a big hitter, Mike.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Coltrane was so stoned, Foreman didn't actually have to hit him. He just passed out after about, 2 rounds of jazz boxing.
I think, and again, I can only go by what I've heard, but isn't that the night when, after he recovered, he played that number for his wife called Naomi, which later became a famous sort of signature tune of his?
Sure, that is a true story. And the reason that tune is so unique is that his horn was so busted out of shape. When he played it, it's got this unique timbre, if you will, very unique.
That's an amazing piece of musical history. Let's listen to a little bit of that track right now.
That tune is so unique is that his horn was so busted out of shape. When he played it, it's got this unique timbre, if you will, very unique sound of basically a busted up horn.
Yeah, like Dizzy Gillespie had that horn that pointed up. It was just his thing, wasn't it,
Well, people think it was his thing, But
he was another...
Sure, I mean, that horn used to be straight.
I mean, Gillespie, who did he fight?
Well, I got him in with an aging Jake LaMotta, and as I say, these jazz guys are allowed to take the horn in with them, and that's how it got so bent out of shape.
I never knew that.
Yeah, sure. That was a straight horn, and then Gillespie found that he could get a good sound out of the busted up horn with the bell sticking up like that.
Well, let's hear some of that very recording made in 1966 at the Alhambra Club, and this is No More Blues. Is this whole, jazz boxing a male-dominated thing, or could any jazz musician sort of...
Oh, sure, male-dominated. The only women allowed in the club were hookers.
Oh, right, okay.
Or waitresses. Or, well, one and the same. Sarah Vaughan was there one night.
No. Really?
Sure,
The
yeah.
Sarah Vaughan?
Yeah, that woman didn't take any shit, you know. She had a really fast left uppercut that just sliced through Frank Bruno's defense.
You put Sarah Vaughan in with Frank Bruno?
Sure, yeah, don't underestimate that broad. Anyway, it left, left him knocked out in the 5th round, although she did use a microphone to break his nose in the 1st. So again, a lot of big shots were queuing up to box, but that was the only time a woman ever got in the ring.
Dizzy Gillespie and No More Blues. I want to move on now with another, a bit of a touchy question really. A kind of a copycat club. I know the outcome of this, but perhaps you could enlighten our viewers as to what happened with that copycat sort of system where someone else had a similar idea.
Oh, I know what you're thinking of here. Yeah. Well, the concept of jazz boxing, the combination of pugilism with jazz music was my own idea. And an ex-colleague of mine, Tony Ravioli, opened up a club in Hell's Kitchen and started promoting what he called jazz karate.
Jazz karate, that's it. That's what I was trying to think of. I was
Yeah,
sure there was
yeah.
somebody tried to mimic what you were doing with jazz
Yeah,
boxing.
that was not good. He opened this club and started the jazz karate, and I heard about it. So I had him killed.
You had him killed?
Yeah. Tony Ravioli is no more, because you don't take Lou Pastrami's ideas and pass them off as your own. That's just not acceptable in the mobster fraternity.
Okay, so that was the end of jazz karate then, I take it.
Well, not exactly, because after Ravioli was gone, I figured, why the hell not? You know, it's my concept. I can broaden it out a little. So I got guys like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, coming in the club to fight. Not jazz musicians in this instance. We kind of mixed it up a little with funk bands. Yeah. So we had all kinds of guys coming in there, like Roy Ayers, with his great big xylophone thing, whatever the hell it was. He couldn't take that in the ring; it was just too big. But he had some pretty heavy mallets.
Right, I see.
He used to use. But he was absolutely useless at karate. So yeah, that did not end well. In fact, I think that was the end of Roy Ayers' career.
Well, that's debatable, but whether that was the end of Roy Ayers' career or not. Let's play a little bit of Roy Ayers before we continue our celebrity interview with Lou Pastrami. How this all wound up anyway. Do you still own clubs? How many clubs? Do you still have jazz boxing? Has it been outlawed? What sort of police corruption was there? I heard that you had to pay a lot of bribes. Just tell me where it stands today and what the future holds for jazz boxing.
Well, with the modern soft culture that we have, jazz boxing had to go underground. Oftentimes you have illegal jazz boxing bouts in like warehouses, disused places like that, because it's outlawed now. People are so soft, they don't want to see guys getting busted
kind of a
up.
Fight Club feel to it now then, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was
more fight than jazz.
It was above board when it was at the Alhambra. It was regulated. No one was killed. Well, okay, maybe a couple. But, there were doctors on hand, and now it's gone underground, it's worse. But, that's the...
So do you own any clubs now that still function? Or are they just fronts for you?
Oh, sure. I got a lot of clubs. But the jazz boxing is history. And my clubs, it's just prostitution and the racketeering and sexual depravity.
Well, the end of an era then, and, I suppose you see less and less of the jazz greats now. And are they as great these days as they ever were?
I would say in a word, no. But listen, at the kickoff, kid, I said you got 5 minutes, and this has been like 10 minutes, so get the hell out of my club.
So that's where the interview with Lou ended, rather abruptly. Obviously a very busy guy, but I hope that brought you all some insight into the origins of jazz boxing from the infamous club owner, Lou Pastrami.